This is the Relevant Podcast.
It's episode 1123. It's the Relevant Podcast here in Orlando. I'm your host, Cameron Strang, and joining me, not from Lower than Virginia, this is literally, dear listeners, this is the first time since 2007 that Jesse Carey is not on the show. Holiday travels and different things got in the way. So joining me from Nashville, Tennessee, artist, producer, mogul, Derek Miner.
What up, though?
Just down the street right there in Nashville, our managing editor, downtown Emily Brown.
Hey, y'all.
And from Los Angeles, you know from Social Club Misfits, it's Marty.
Hi.
So, I apologize in advance if I seem a little frazzled. I just got off the phone with an insurance adjuster because I got in my first accident ever yesterday, and so I'm doing.
How did it happen? Walk me through this.
Insane. You've been driving for a few years, Cam. So
I have been paying. I've been paying monthly insurance for 21 years and have never, ever cashed in a claim. And so I'm getting some of it back now. Yeah, I was turning left onto a 5-lane road, like a busy road, and the traffic was stopped at a red light. And so they left like an opening for me, to like cut out and turn left onto the road. And as I was turning left, 2 lanes of stopped traffic, kind of going through it, turn left, a guy was coming down the center turn lane and just smacked me right in the driver's side door.
Whose fault was it? Well, it's a no fault because we're in Florida, but like whose fault really was it?
I don't know.
Yeah.
He couldn't have seen me. I couldn't have seen him. All the traffic was completely stopped because there was a red light, 200 feet away. And so like, I don't know. I had my turn signal on.
One of the things that's my worst fear is like getting in a car accident and then having a conversation with the person that you hit. I just feel like it's immediately aggressive, immediately angry. Everyone's upset. No one knows why. They're just caught off guard. How did it go?
It was fine. He was just like an older guy, smelled like cigarettes. He was a little frazzled. I was frazzled, but nobody got mad or anything.
No tint on his windows.
The weird thing was there was a police officer doing the traffic for this school across the street, like the red light thing. There was a cop like right there. He walked over because he heard the screech and like looked up, and he goes, but I can't help you. And I was like, why? He goes, well, if this wreck had happened on that side of the street, you would have been in the city of Orlando, but it happened on this side of the street. You're technically in Orange County. So you have to have an Orange County officer come out. Like, what?
That's funny.
It's like, you're right.
So
You're
stupid.
right here. You're like standing right there. He goes, it's so weird.
Well, if you were
just
driving,
didn't want to
he was
work that
following
day,
you.
honestly.
Yeah, he didn't want to work because if he was following you and gave you a ticket in like Orlando and you just like happen to stop inside like Orange County, he still has to give you a ticket. He still has to be a cop. Nothing stops being a cop. He's just like, I just want to do it right now, bro. It's not that serious, probably. That's why.
No, that's what it was. He's like, it'll probably take an hour for the sheriff to come out. I was like, I'm leaving to go get my kid from school. He goes, if your cars can drive, just exchange information and deal with it later. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
So we left.
I did that same thing. Everyone was slowing down in the turnpike. I wasn't paying attention, hit me from behind. And the cop was like, I called the cops and they're like, is it that bad? I'm like, it's not. And they're like, just go. I was like, okay. The cop said, go. You saw the guy. The cop said, just go. It's not that bad. He's like, okay. Everyone's saying, okay. We just left.
Yeah. I have no experience in having a wreck, so I didn't know what to do. But yeah,
it's
the cop
a no
was
fault.
Like,
so it
don't worry about it.
Yeah, there's no one has to figure out what happened. That's why.
See, what's crazy to me is I was thinking about this when you were telling me this, Cameron. I don't think I've ever seen a Tesla like damaged before. You know what I mean? Like especially in Tennessee, Derek, you can confirm this. It seems like everyone's car has some sort of duct tape on it. Mine did at one point, I will admit. But it just
duct tape.
I got it fixed.
She literally had her bumper duct taped. Yeah.
Yeah. It took a couple months, but we got there.
It's
but like I've never seen a Tesla. Like they're always like in pristine condition.
Well, it avoids it. Like it'll swerve itself out of the way if it sees a collision coming. It was just, this was like totally blindsided, there was no visibility to know that this car was driving.
And look, that's
what
pretty
kind of car did
crazy
he
because
have?
a Tesla has, especially your model Tesla, it's got the sensors and it has the cameras. So it's like, this was crazy. Like to have so much tech around you and they still hit you is nuts.
and then a Nissan comes along and hits you.
It was like a 1993 Ford Focus.
It's lit.
It's
lit.
Smelled like cigarettes.
It's lit.
I knew it was going to be that level. Like, there's no tint on the windows. There's fabric. You know what I'm saying? They smell like cigarettes because he's smoking. You know, I know what kind of car was hit you. The guy who gambles on the weekend. You know what I'm saying? You know where I'm going with this.
If not gambling while he was driving,
smoking. He was watching. He was playing Candy Crush while he hit you, and they should check his phone for Candy Crush. To be honest.
So here's a question I have for y'all, because this is something that a lot of black people do. I don't know if y'all do this, but is it every time? So look, when a situation like this and you barely avoid getting hit, like, so Cameron got hit this time, but you barely avoid getting hit, do you just be like, see, that's why your car messed up right now in the first place? Does that go to you? Because all my black friends do that. Like, when we see a car with like it's dented on the side and then they almost hit you, it's like, see, that's why your car messed up in the first place. Like, do y'all do
absolutely.
that?
It's not a problem unless something happens and it's like you call out the bad thing. My parents do that. Like, I think it's like a very common. Like that's why your car has a broken, like, it wasn't a problem a second ago, but because you swerved in my lane, that is probably why you have a shattered windshield. You're missing a taillight. You know what I'm saying? We went to a restaurant the other day and the waiter forgot something and the guy had one leg. The waiter had one leg, and my dad's like immediately that was the first thing my dad called. He's like, he forgot the nachos, and why does he have one leg? Like, for some reason, it like became a thing. Like, and why does he have one? And everyone's like, yeah, why? Why does he have, it just became, we like to call out, I guess, I don't know. People like to call out people's weaknesses.
I don't know, man. It's just, I don't know.
That's why you have no fender.
I think I do that with like cars where I'll see, someone, with some sort of something's wrong with their car. And I think my first thought is like, oh, someone probably hit them or like it wasn't their fault. And then I see that they're a terrible driver and I'm like, oh, okay, no, you did that to yourself. Like that's why your car is literally pieced together with different colored doors and duct tape.
Why do people not get in an accident? How come they don't get their car fixed?
Can't afford it, bro. They probably got
but everybody has to have insurance.
Yeah, but they probably don't have insurance, right? Like, what is that?
They probably don't have full coverage. They might have.
They just do the bare minimum.
Yeah, so they probably got coverage just to fix the other person's car. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So look, coming from a former poor. You know what I'm saying? Straight out the hood.
Former poor body.
Yeah. Well, okay. I also will say, like this summer, when I had to get my car fixed, they said, I took it to the shop. They said it would take 1, maybe 2 weeks max. It took almost 4 weeks. It was like, I think I got it back out.
That's another piece. Some people don't have the luxury of having no car for 4 weeks. And so if you have good insurance, they'll give you a car. Right. But most people don't. So you don't get insurance.
Right, if you got one of them joints that you went to you typed in your information, they sent you like 40 different insurance companies and you've never heard of them before. They don't have no commercials. It's like Uncle Jimmy's insurance. It's like, but they're not giving you a rental car, bro. It's over with. Emily
drives a Nissan Altima, so just know the damage already. It's in the car. Oh, so close. Nissan's like the car that when on TikTok, they're like, what car? They ask mechanics, what car would you not want? And they're like, Nissan Altima. Really? Like they always say Nissan. Yeah.
I wonder why.
I just saw that video like 5 seconds ago.
It gets pretty good gas mileage, which is like truly the biggest factor into why I bought it. And
it goes 180 miles per hour. Like there's no limit on it. That's why the cars are so dangerous. Man. Like you see an Altima, we call this thing Altima Energy. It's where you just drive it's like a girl. She's young. She drives like a psychopath. My wife had an Altima, so I know about that. Drive 130 miles per hour on the highway. Don't care. Bad.
Yeah. She's got places to go.
Listening to YG, Get Loco, like all these like rap songs, like it gets deep. You know what I'm saying? Like my wife's gonna hear this and be upset, but it gets deep. It's just it gets deep.
How many wrecks has she been in? Put her out.
My wife's okay. So my wife, when I first met her, she had gotten a car accident. She was just parked. Yeah, she was parked. She was at the light, whatever. And a guy on a bike in downtown LA was not paying attention. This is the grossest story. He hits the back of her car, flies like 30 feet, like totally body destroyed. His arm, like flesh, hair, skin was still like in the window. He hit it so hard, and it wasn't even her fault. It was his fault.
He was on a bicycle or a motorcycle?
is a bicycle. And you know, those bikes in the city, it's different. In the city is different. These guys go like 60 miles per hour, and he was just looking down. He had the camera on his head too. So you can see the footage of him flying in a circle 40 times in the air and landing on his face. Yeah, he got hit. And I remember my wife was like, he's got a camera on his head. He hit my car. And I was like, call the police. Why are you calling me? Call the police, you know?
Man, my wife and I were in LA, and we were watching somebody cross. It was like crazy. I don't know if it was La Brea or it was like one of those like streets that's really, really like popping. And we see this Asian lady run out in the middle of the street. She was trying to cross at the last minute, and a guy wasn't paying any attention. And I mean, he hits this lady. She flips over the car, comes down the back. She gets up and just keeps walking.
Yeah, that's very common over there.
I was
very
like,
common, bro.
Yo, like she did, she gets up, keeps walking off the street. Everybody's attending to her, trying to, you know, make sure she's okay. But I never seen a person get hit that hard. But I don't know if that was just like adrenaline or whatever. But that is ingrained in my mind like forever. I will never not see her flipping over this guy's car, landing, getting up. And just walking back across the street. I was like, dang.
Unfortunately, a lot of people are illegal, to be honest with you.
Oh, you think that might have been an illegal situation?
Yeah. So this is what was explained to me. A lot of people in California are illegal. And so they legally can't tell you, hey, so like, I know a situation where a guy got hit and he was like, please do not tell anybody. He's like, and the guy had a broken leg. He's like, don't tell anybody, just keep moving. And it's, you know, they'd rather get patched up at the hospital than have to figure that out through insurance. And so that's a real thing in California for sure. It's not
that's sad. Yeah, actually, that's
common knowledge there. Yeah. Yeah. She got up like Ving Rhames in Pulp Fiction. She started running after, you know, like nothing happened.
Yo.
Dude, I don't know why this happened or why I was watching this, but like A&E has a show called Road Wars, and it's all these are like road rage incidences and wrecks and stuff, and it's just clip after clip after clip. I don't know. It's on Peacock, and I ended up watching like so many episodes the last couple of days. It's there's some crazy stuff. There's crazy.
No, there is.
Hold on, I'm going to send y'all a trailer for it.
No, I love stuff like that, Kim. I love stuff like that.
That is the last thing
I was watching Florida. I want to see it. I was watching Florida Cop at the ICU today. They have like, it's called Florida Cop. It's a new show on like A&E as well, where it's like Florida cops doing Florida things. And I'm like, I love it. I love all this stuff. I love this type of reality TV.
I know, it's like back in the tow truck days, or like they would repo people, or whatever, and get into fights and stuff. But anyway, yeah, no, I fell in love with this show. I watched so many episodes, and then I got into a wreck. I wonder if that was.
I love this.
I think that there is a connection there. I think your mind was like, I want to be on the show.
Just happened to be the same time.
All right. Well, we have a great show in store for you today. Coming up later, we talk to Passion. Also, at the end of the show, we have your feedback. It's Christmas movie feedback.
Nice.
But stay tuned. Right now, coming up next, it's Relevant Buzz. You're listening to Electric Guest. The song is Holiday. It is part of the Spotify playlist we do every year, A Very Relevant Christmas, which is out now. 350 curated songs. Go check it out. All the music on today's show will be songs from A Very Relevant Christmas. So yeah, go check it out. That's Electric Guest. Well, today's show is brought to you in part by Factor. It's a busy time of year, and you might be looking for nutritious, convenient meals to keep you energized on jam-packed days. Factor, America's #1 ready-to-eat meal delivery service, can help you fuel up fast for breakfast, lunch, and dinner with chef-prepared, dietitian-approved, ready-to-eat meals delivered straight to your door. You'll save time, eat well, and stay on track with your healthy lifestyle while tackling your holiday to-dos. Choose from more than 35 weekly flavor-packed, fresh, never-frozen meals that support a healthy lifestyle and meet your meal preferences, all delivered right to your door and ready to eat in 2 minutes. If you're looking for special occasion meals during the holidays, you can level up with Gourmet Plus options, including premium ingredients, prepared to perfection by chefs and ready to eat in record time. Or if you need an extra boost to support your wellness goals and feel your best during the holidays, try Protein Plus meals with 30 grams of protein or more per serving. This November, get Factor and enjoy eating well without the hassle. Head to factormeals.com/relevant50 and use code relevant50 to get 50% off. That's code relevant50 at factormeals.com/relevant50 to get 50% off. Okay, it's time for
Relevant Buzz.
Tell us what's happening at the intersection of faith and culture this week, Emily.
Yeah, I can't believe I'm saying this, but we're going to start Buzz by talking about Daddy Yankee, which I'm very excited about.
I've heard that one.
Dale.
For anyone listening, he obviously is the international superstar who has mega hits like Despacito, my personal favorite, Gasolina. But he recently concluded the final show of his farewell tour and announced that he's pivoting his life and career to focus on Jesus.
Wow.
Did you hear about this?
In what way?
Let's
Like he became a
get it.
Christian? So he's walking away from music.
So he's over his career. He's, kind of mentioned like, thank God for this in a speech, different things like that. But at the end of the show, he gave this really big speech that, clearly something has happened recently that he's making this big decision. And he just shared that he'd really come to realize that like living a life of success is not the same as living life with a purpose. And he'd felt really unfulfilled for a long time. And so this is a quote. He said, "Someone was able to fill that emptiness. That is why tonight I recognize and I am not ashamed to tell the whole world that Jesus lives in me and that I will live for him. All the tools that I have in my possession, such as music, social networks, platforms, a microphone, everything that Jesus gave me is now for his kingdom."
Let's get it. All right, I see you, brother.
Go, Daddy Yankee.
It's awesome,
Right,
man. At the
Yankee?
end of his career, at the end of a very long 40-year career, he finally accepted Jesus Christ. And now he's going to use his platform for good. I'm really excited about
He's
this.
46. Okay.
I'm just kidding. After a long he's been in the game since 16, but now is the time where he wants to tell everyone about Jesus.
That's how it happens, bro.
Not too much
he
on
just
him.
left his
Okay.
deal.
That's how it happens.
Why do Christians always do that in the back end? Why can't they do it in the middle? Why is it always at the back end of a career?
Because Christians don't want to pay for tickets.
I'm trying to figure out, is he like, it was the last show of his farewell tour. So was he planning to walk away from music because he got saved? Or did he or is this just coincidence? Or is this like a decision to walk away from secular music? I don't know.
Man, look, I'm going to say this publicly. I haven't said it, but me and Cameron, we've talked about this. Me and you've talked about this. The hard part for a lot of artists is Christians in general. Now, I don't say this is a rule, and I'm not saying I'm going to take every Christian, but what I've observed being in this space is Christians are okay with paying for a cause, but they're not okay with paying a Christian for entertainment. So the same Christian that'll go to a Taylor Swift concert will fly across the world, pay ungodly amounts of money with the Ticketmaster stuff just to get the Taylor Swift thing. But for a Christian band, like for Derek Minor, or even a Maverick City Music or whatever, people feel like they shouldn't pay for that because it's for God. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's a deterrent for a lot of creatives. It's very nuanced. I understand it's like, you're making music. This is supposed to be worship. Why am I having to pay for this? But at the end of the day, I could see why he man, let me run this bag up real quick and then let me go into a different space where I know he probably doesn't even know that it's more about benevolence. But I mean, when you think about the impact in that way, I could see why. I probably would do the same thing. I don't even hold you.
In Miami, I know for a fact, a lot of these Latin artists, I mean, the churches in Miami do a really good job. A lot of them come from the churches in Miami, like El Jesus, and there's a lot of Latin churches in Miami that reach those types of artists. So I know that there are probably people like the Maldonados and people like that are like in their ears. So I know that it's like a process of working. I think the laughable part, and I'm not making fun of his faith journey. It's amazing. I think the laughable part is it's at the very, very end of it where he's like, I'm not even releasing music anymore, but I'm also a Christian. But I think that's amazing. I think Daddy Yankee is like the godfather of like reggaeton music. So those songs, that's like, I don't know how to explain that if you don't know who he is in the terms of like American music, but he's very, very important in Latin music.
Who would be an equivalent? Is he Bieber level for reggaeton?
I would say that because Latin music crosses over. I would say that he's a superstar. So imagine, I wouldn't say Justin Bieber, but I would say like he would be who'd be a little bit less like, he'd be like a Shawn Mendes, or like, I don't know, like between Shawn Mendes and Justin Bieber, where his music is very, very important. It's not like world shattering like Justin Bieber, the world stops, but his music is very, very important. And he's a superstar. Yeah, so he's a superstar.
He's Gucci Mane for trap music. He's Jeezy for trap music.
Yeah, he's not like number one. Like number one to me would be like, you're gonna think like he's up there with like Maluma. Like that would be another guy who's just like a superstar. But yeah, he's very, very big, very important, huge. Like these guys go on world tours and every single arena is like 30, 40,000. And a lot of people can't even name the songs, but it's a niche audience of Latin people who love it. And then the thing about Latin people is that we just want to go to a show to dance. So a lot of people go just to hang out and have fun. To Derek's point, like in the Christian world, people don't really buy a $50 ticket to worship. Right. They don't do it, especially when you have it every Sunday at your church and they have a band playing the same song karaoke. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. That's true.
But it's a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you guys want to collab with Daddy Yankee. So here's the thing. He didn't say, he hasn't officially said that he's like never making music again. This is kind of his farewell tour. So it's like implied.
Yeah. Why would you do a farewell tour though, if you're going to keep making music?
Exactly.
I think it's farewell to secular music. It's probably
that's
like
what I think it might be.
Yeah. He's probably not going to do Despacito anymore. If he does it, he might do like what Kanye was doing during his Jesus is King thing. He remixed it into Christian songs or whatever.
Social Club Misfits featuring Daddy Yankee. Come on.
That'd be crazy.
You know what I'm saying?
That'd be crazy.
You know what the funny thing is? Like, why did no one talk about how Kanye West is no longer a Christian?
People got egg on their face.
I think
people got egg on their face. I remember when Kanye dropped Jesus is King, there was so many people that was telling me, you need to make more music like Kanye. I'm like, all right, well, we'll see what happens in a couple years. I'm not gonna.
Has he said he's walked away from faith?
He just dropped a song called Vultures, and it's like really profanity, like. It's really odd. I mean, it's such a weird song that not even Apple Music picked it up. Spotify, it has like a lot of weird statements in it, but it's like a 9 out of 10 and explicit.
I wouldn't say he's not a Christian because that's hard to.
Yeah.
Like I don't know him, but I would say that the pivot from all my music is for Jesus. And, he was on this whole campaign of like, we got to start making more positive, stop making such negative music. That's all out the window. Like that song with him and Ty, it's Ty and somebody else. I was like,
it's Lil Durk and another young guy.
I was like, he went back to my Dark Twisted Fantasy Kanye. This ain't even like College Dropout. This is like, I'm just out here, Kanye.
He's trying to say extreme things, so people are like, "Whoa!" And I just think that no one's following it anymore. But I feel like every time we talk on the Relevant podcast, one of the conversations is how a lot of artists are finding God, and I think it's really great that a lot of artists find God. But then on the flip side, there's a lot of artists who use the church as a marketing tool, and so I feel like the church is really relevant if you really think about it. God is relevant always because it's either used as a point of marketing or it's used as a point of safety within the industry. Like, hey, now I'm a believer. This is what, this is where I align my values with. So it's funny how God is always being used. God is always going to be relevant. God's always going to be important.
Speaking of using God, that's a good segue to the next buzz item.
Yeah, you did a great job because we are talking about an artist who announced that they are entering their Christian era as of last week. And there's been some conversation about that. Lil Nas X posted a video on social media with a song.
I know. Just marketing. I know.
Yeah, we've got a clip. We're going to play the song here.
Yes.
Great.
Father, scratch my hands. The lonely road seems to last the longest. Help me with my plans. Everything seems to go to nowhere. Free me from worry and want and pity. Free me from all this envy in me. I don't want these feelings. I don't want these feelings. I call on angels. I'm trying hard to face my pain, yeah. Give me hope when I feel. Give me hope when I feel less. Angels, I'm trying.
So it is a song that, he said it genuinely is about asking God for hope when you feel hopeless. And it's definitely a different sound for him. Maybe 10 seconds after he posted it, people immediately pushed back on him, just questioning, like, are you being genuine? Are you mocking God? Because just his past music and the art that he's made.
He just had his devil era.
I think him saying Christian era is like, so does that mean you'll make Christian music for a while and then move on to a new era?
No, he said, like, and when he posted and he announced it, he said, I can make Christian music and live my lifestyle. And he's like, I can kneel for two reasons.
Oh, wow.
And it's like he's trying to embrace the profane and.
So here's the thing with Nas. What's interesting with him is that his dad is a pastor.
Yeah, he grew up listening to Lecrae.
Yeah,
Like,
he grew up in the church. So
He wanted to be on Reach.
with the lifestyle choice. Did he say it for real? That's crazy.
Yeah, he said something. Well, you know what's funny? I followed Lil Nas X when he was in his Reddit phase where he was dropping fun songs that no one knew. And now look at him now. He's freaking huge.
Yeah, but with
But he was a big fan of Christian rap and Lecrae and Andy, actually, I think, too.
That's crazy. And with the lifestyle choice that he chose, it's probably really, really hard. He probably dealt with a lot of trauma as far as like being homosexual and being in a black church, homosexual in a black church. It's probably a lot of stuff there. So that's the thing that is hard about artists. And going back to the conversation that you had, or the thing you said last about artists kind of going in and out of Christianity, some of it isn't necessarily, I don't think, just like marketing ploys. I wouldn't even write this off as a marketing ploy. This could literally just be a kid that's publicly wrestling, but everything he says is constantly under scrutiny. So then now you got to also deal with the part of that as well. So like when I look at Kanye, when I look at Nas, the hard part about these types of guys is they are so high up. Like they can't, it's hard for somebody like a Cameron Strang or Marty that we know would love on these people in a way that isn't predatory. That's really hard. They're not coming down here with guys like us. So they don't always have wise counsel that isn't just like constantly maintaining some sort of music platform thing. So I really feel bad for guys like Ye and X as they wrestle with these things publicly. But that's why the Bible says lay hands on no man suddenly as well. Because all those people that jumped on the Kanye's a Christian thing and all these Christian artists suck, y'all need to be more like Kanye. It's like we don't lay hands on nobody. We always, soon as somebody says they're a Christian, we just elevate them, give them the keys to the castle. We don't take any time to treat them like human beings and allow them to heal just because they're talented. Because I feel like we're always looking for a Saul. We want a king. And, it's unfortunate for them.
It's true.
I think it is like what you're saying there. There's this tension where it's like, you either have Ye, where it's like you immediately say like, yes, he's a Christian, let's lift him up, or they treat them like Lil Nas X, where it's like, well, there's no way you're Christian. They push them down. And it's like you said, they're both in the middle. They're clearly on some sort of journey, and to sort of push them one way or the other is just going to end poorly for everyone. So it's like they do need people who can walk with them as they are wrestling through this and stuff. And, and it is interesting. Like Lil Nas X, he said that like he is genuinely expressing himself through his music. And he's like, I feel like people are just trying to gatekeep Jesus. And it's like they kind of are. Like he should be able to explore his faith. He does have that extra layer of he's in the public eye. So everything he says and does is going to be scrutinized, but we have to hold tension with like letting people grow and change while not pushing them one way or the other.
I'll be honest with you, like early days of the magazine, like I learned my lesson in this respect. I had heard, the Christianity Today was founded by Billy Graham back in the 50s or whatever.
Oh, wow.
I heard that in the original era of that magazine, they wouldn't put anybody on the cover that was still alive because they didn't know what would happen next. You know what I'm saying? So like, and that's always been in the back of my mind because like my dad, he started a magazine in the 80s and 90s, televangelism, all those scandals. And I remember like they would have to cover the scandals because my dad was like, well, we gave our platform to this person. And if something comes out about them that would change our audience's perception of them, we owe it to our audience to tell both sides of their story. And so it just felt like they were always reporting on Christian scandals and it was like gossipy and stuff. And I was just like, I didn't know what to do with relevant. And so when we were early days of the magazine, I remember DMX announced he became a Christian and it was like our second issue. And I was like, oh, this is great. And so right there in the front matter, beginning of the magazine, DMX finds Jesus, we covered it. And then, what happened like a year or so later, like he's just like, backslidden and kind of walked away from faith and all that kind of stuff. And it's like, crap, we sat there and like endorsed it, like, yay, celebrated. He's a Christian. He's one of us now. And I stopped doing that after that. Like after I kind of learned from DMX, like we can't be, yay, he's in the fold. And oh no, now he sins again. And like I didn't, it's like, cool. We just told you all about Daddy Yankee's proclamation, but we're not like saying anything other than just what he said. Here's what he said. And then you can make a decision.
Celebrities are just regular people, right? So, all right, it's not the average Joe that just gets saved. We celebrate the fact that they got saved, right? But nobody is like now elevating them to this standard of maturity and all those different things. But that's exactly what happens when a celebrity gets saved or becomes a believer. We instantly make them skip all of the steps and say, man, this person is going to do damage for the kingdom. And we're trying to instantly elevate them into anything. And the Bible warns us of that in James, where it says that if a person that's not dressed as cool as somebody else, you don't put them on the front row and put the person that's not dressed great on the back row. It's the same thing with clout. When a celebrity gets saved, we shouldn't treat them any different than the local guy that just got saved, because we do a disservice to both people and the community when we do that, because we elevate these celebrities and they never get any chance to get soul care, work through traumas and all those things. And then now we just heaping more trauma onto them, because y'all know the Christian community as well as I do, which is, man, the Christian community hails you like Jesus one day and then they throw you on the cross the next day for whatever issue, right? So it's not a good thing.
I got to start reading that Bible again. Just kidding. I'm just kidding. James, you said? Book of James? Just kidding. Nah, I love it.
This is a good one. All right. What else do you have, Emily?
Last thing I want to talk about, hopefully you saw this. George Santos was officially expelled as a congressman last week. And literally hours later, HBO announced that a film was already in the works.
We never talk politics, but
I just a dude that faked his degree.
Yeah, he faked a lot of
things.
My
favorite thing he's ever said, my absolute favorite, I'm not a politics guy, but everyone heard about this when they go, so you're Jewish. He goes, I never said I'm Jewish. I said I'm Jew-ish. And they're like, nah, okay. Bruh. He's like, I'm serious. He goes, my parents are Catholic. They're like, but you said your parents were in the Holocaust and then died in 9/11. He goes, no, I'm Jew-ish.
No, bro.
I was like, I've never heard.
No, we don't have enough time to like go through everything he's been accused of, but it's like wire fraud, identity theft.
Really?
Insane. Oh yeah.
Well, all the lies stuff, like my mom died in 9/11.
I think she's died
and
3
it turns out she
times.
wasn't even in the country during 9/11. Yeah. All his fake degrees, all of his whatever. That's not why he got expelled.
Why did he get expelled?
Because the House Ethics Committee did an investigation about his campaign finances. And it turns out that he was double dipping and using campaign money for personal reasons, i.e. Botox and OnlyFans subscription.
I'm telling you, rich people don't know how to spend money.
He's using the campaign credit card.
Rich people do not know how to spend money. I will help you guys out. No
so
taste.
he's
Botox
only
and OnlyFans.
He's like this. In 250 years, he's like only the 6th congressman to get expelled, and it's because of Botox and OnlyFans.
I want to see his face. I want to see his face before and after Botox. I got to see this thing.
But anyway, but what's funny to me is like, okay, so this caught our eye that like within a day, HBO announced they were doing it, and it's a lot of the team behind Veep that's doing the film, and I was telling Emily this, like, I don't know how this is gonna go, because when you think about Veep, it worked until 2016.
Can you help me?
Oh, Veep is great.
Veep is
you love it.
Julia Louis-Dreyfus, Tony Hale. It's like a political satire show that was on HBO.
The girl
for
Elaine
like
from Seinfeld.
10 years.
She's a vice president. She's basically the president, vice president.
Oh yeah. Okay, yeah.
So it's like, so it follows her, and then it's like behind the scenes, and it's like these quirky characters and stuff like that. So it's like political satire, but it didn't work after Trump because their cartoony lampooning thing was mundane compared to what was happening in real life politics. And so it lost its edge and it didn't know what it wanted to be. And so like the show kind of petered out. And so I'm kind of going with the George Santos story. Ruth is stranger than any satire or fiction you could do about this dude. So are they going to play it straight?
Hold on,
or are they
Cameron.
going to try
Hold on, Cameron. I need you to unpack this for me. Are you telling me that this show was doing satire of politicians and then Trump comes along and was more cartoonish
than their cartoon
than the actual show?
Yeah.
So people lost interest in the show, and the show didn't know where to go because Trump.
Isn't that funny? So how do you spoof something that's
real life is right? Real life is more crazier than the cartoon.
And that's what I'm saying about the George Santos story. It's like, are they going to try and like make it zanier? Like the reality is crazy, of this dude. So it's like, do you do it straight, kind of like they did like those drama series for like WeWork or Uber and those, like, do you do a gritty? And like, I don't know what direction it'll go. It's the Veep team. So it's kind of like, I don't know. I'm curious, but there's going to be a million George Santos.
Yeah, you can only go like more extreme, I guess, right? That's it's pretty extreme, but.
You telling me he was using campaign funds to fund his OnlyFans? I just want to see.
No.
I just need to
subscribe to
other people's OnlyFans.
He was buying.
Oh, so he was nasty, is what you're saying?
Yeah, he was the guy who gave $60,000 to Ruby Rose. He's that guy. Just kidding.
You nasty fool.
He spent the funniest part about this is that's money that's basically taxpayer money. That's the craziest part, right? Like that's he's using taxpayer money to give $30,000 to a girl.
Bro, you said that my taxes went to George Santos to post feet pics.
No, his people who donated to his campaign.
So
it was campaign donations that he used.
Yeah, okay.
So the fact that you donated, Derek, to this guy. Just kidding.
Everybody that donated to George Santos paid for his obsession with feet pics, is what you're saying.
Feet, his face, lips.
He's also facing 23 criminal charges still for his conduct, including wire fraud, identity theft of public funds. That would be the campaign.
He defrauded everyone, telling them that he built this whole story up. Right? Is that illegal to build a story up and then under false pretenses?
It's not illegal.
I think if you're misleading. Right. But if he's accepting donations under false pretenses because
the money part,
he had qualifications that he didn't.
I was reading a story the other day. I think there's 2 or 3 instances where he set up GoFundMes for different people, and then he ended up taking
for dogs.
That money.
His dog never. His
the
dog
veteran
never died.
Dog thing. Yeah.
I heard. So I was reading an article the other day that said that
he set a GoFundMe up for his dog. And his dog
this was before he was in politics.
No.
He
There was
was
like
already
a
dead.
veterans. There was like a veteran's dog who was like the veteran. I think was homeless, and he had this dog who needed surgery. And George Santos like found him somehow and said, "Well, like I'll help you." And so he set up this whole GoFundMe. And then the veteran was like, "I never saw any of the money."
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Yeah.
American politics, baby.
But this is like long before politics. This guy's just been a fraudster.
Oh, also important to note, he does deny all of this. So I feel like we should clarify that, of course.
We need.
What does a guy like do like that? Like after this?
Oh,
like what do you
he's
do
on
after
Cameo
this?
now. For
He's on Cameo.
$200,
Okay, that's about right.
you can get a Cameo video from him.
For $200, he'll give you you can hire him to spill gossip, do life advice.
Some of the other ones.
They all put money
wishes,
together to have him do like a relevant Christmas message.
All right, so,
hey
so
guys,
now let me play the I guess for lack of a better word, the devil's advocate. So is this guy that smart? Is this because the thing is, maybe it's like we could look at this and say he's an idiot, but this man has scammed his way into being a politician.
He got caught though
he is
instantly.
the next level of scammer. Like this is genius level. This is like some Lex Luthor, like Joker level, like scamming.
Well,
right?
the thing is, it would be if he didn't get caught. I think he immediately. I think once he became the nominee and all that stuff, he immediately was questioned and like
all the lies started coming out.
Well, I think he's a good liar to a point. Because like once he got, because like he would get caught, like, so the OnlyFans thing that came out a few weeks ago, and he did an interview where he obviously denied it, and he was like, I just found out what OnlyFans was. And it was like, okay, you obviously didn't. Like, you know, like if you're going to lie, be a
You're
good
a gold
liar.
member.
We have credit card receipts.
yeah, you're a gold member.
Did you remember like after he got elected and it was like right after the election and there was like a joint, maybe it was a State of the Union address or something like that where everybody's in the same room together. And everybody mills around and you kind of sit in different, nobody wanted to touch him because he was already known. And so there was this clip of Mitt Romney.
Radioactive.
Mitt Romney, you know, he's going and shaking everybody's hand and he worked down. And as he's shaking George Santos's hand with a smile on his face, he says to him, dead eye, he goes, "You're an embarrassment." And then he just kept going.
Oh my god!
But like, you know, like, but for the cameras, it just looked like a normal interaction. But somebody like recorded it, you could see.
We need like a real sports, you know what I'm saying, for politics at this point. You know, like I need behind the scenes,
Hard Knocks,
24/7 documentary crew that's bipartisan. They're not like on one side. They're just recording everything, and we could like C-SPAN is missing out on money right now because all this stuff gets me hyped up that I want to look it up. I want to look up all his like craziness because it's just so outrageous. It's Veep. You're right. We're living out Veep.
Hood politics. We got to subscribe to Jason or propaganda show Hood Politics.
Oh, he'll have a good episode.
I do want to say I've seen a lot of people. I've seen a lot of people kind of theorize like who's going to play him in the movie because there are a few actors that kind of look like him and could maybe pull it off. But I actually was reading an article where they were listing like who could possibly play him, and the final one they gave was just have him play himself. And I honestly think that would be really funny if they just.
He would love it. He's done so much more than me. He's in a volleyball league. He was a congressman. I have done nothing. We're the same age. I've done nothing with my life.
He went to like 4 or 5 Ivy League schools.
He found Bin Laden. Did you know that? George Santos.
He found John Gotti's safe. And then there's money in it with Geraldo. He split it up with him.
All right. Well, that'll do it for
Relevant Buzz.
Make sure to check out relevantmagazine.com every weekday where we are covering the intersection of faith, culture, and everything in between. Thanks, Emily. Stay tuned. Up next, Passion joins us.
Trying to sleep, but the devil trying to sneak this. Told my baby that I need that and I need this. She said, don't forget the reason for the season. Yeah, me and my brother watching Rudolph. 75 in Phoenix, I might have to take the roof off. Fire up the grill, we never knew about a U-Law. 100 black Santas in the house, they look like ooh-ah. Grandma got the apple pie, busting out the bando. Daddy probably got the NFL or something on the channel. I ain't worried about my troubles now. I'm chilling with the famo. Got an AK full of love and I've been loading up the ammo. Look, Christmas Eve.
You're listening to No Big Deal. The song is Christmas in the Sticks. Again, it's on A Very Relevant Christmas. Go check it out. Well, our guest today is Christian Stanfill from Passion. Not only did the worship team just drop a new song, they also are gearing up for their annual huge conference, Passion Conference, at the end of the month. Here's part of our conversation with Christian Stanfill.
Christ, the Son of
So Passion Conference is coming up at the end of the month. What are you looking forward to the most at this year's conference?
So much. We get to be back in Mercedes-Benz together, which will be quite a moment. To have all of us in one space again is going to be, it's really beautiful. When you have 60,000 plus college students in one room, worshiping, praying, crying out to God for their generation, crying out to God for their own life. It's a pretty unforgettable sight, something you don't forget. So it will be great to all be together. We have an incredible collection of speakers and worship leaders that are really like friends and family that we're going to be leading together, which will be amazing. But conference this year, every year I have such high expectations for Passion Conference. This year, in particular, it feels really significant. I think with the times we're living in, there are a lot of headlines that we're seeing, a lot of stories we're reading. It feels like things are kind of tense and shaky right now. And then just in general, there just seems to be so much coming at us from every direction to distract us from the larger reality, the truest reality that we're living in, which is the rule and reign of Jesus and the advancement of his kingdom. And so it just feels like a great time to gather together at the Benz in January and say with our voices and with our hearts, put a stake in the ground and say, we are a generation united for the fame in the name of Jesus. So really praying that God breaks through while we're in those days and gives us a big view of Jesus.
Well, before the recording, we were talking, and you mentioned you've been a part of Passion for almost 20 years.
Yeah.
Which, is a long time to be in ministry for a lot of leaders. Do you have any advice for young leaders out there who want to stay long but are nervous about the challenges ahead?
Yeah, I'm just sort of touching on it there, but I'm just starting to figure out how to talk about this because I've got a lot of thoughts, a lot of things swirling in my head for conference this year. But I think the thing that I'm praying for most of all is that we will all, the students and us as leaders included, all of us together, we will understand and get a picture of the larger reality that we're living in. Things are not as they seem. So we touch and we feel and we smell and we see all these things around us, but there is a truer reality happening just behind the veil. Jesus is king and his kingdom is real. And so I think what I want more than anything for all of us is for that to come into full view and for us to just get a glimpse of that. It is in the best way, it's a terrifying thing to catch a vision of Jesus as King and as Lord. It reshapes, reframes, and puts everything in its right place. And that's what I want so badly for students at Passion. I want it so badly for myself. I think that's what I'm praying for. And then just to see the contrast between our life and our brokenness and the holiness and the righteousness of God. And to go, man, some of these things don't add up. Like the way that I'm living here doesn't match up or add up to the holiness and the righteousness of God. And I need to adjust some things in my life. And that's a good thing. That's like Holy Spirit conviction that we need. So I'm praying that we feel that contrast and we feel that gap. But also we see in that contrast and gap the beauty of the cross and God's grace for us in Jesus. And so there's a lot in there, I know, and I'm trying my best to articulate it. But I really have a strong sense that by the Holy Spirit, there will be a spirit of wisdom and revelation in the room in the Benz. And that Jesus will come into full view and it will change everything for us.
That was Christian Stanfield from Passion. Make sure to go check out their new single, He Is to Come. It's available wherever you get your music. All right, stay tuned. Up next, it's your feedback.
Whenever it snows, the world is a snowball just for a song. Get out and roll it along. It's a yummy world made for sweethearts. Take a walk with your favorite girl. It's a sugar day. What if spring is late and winter it's a marshmallow world?
You're listening to The Lone Bellow. The song is Marshmallow World. I love them. Okay, it's time for your feedback. Last week, we were talking about Christmas movies, and now it's okay to watch them. You know, it's finally December. And we got talking about our favorite Christmas movies. So we asked you for your favorite Christmas movies and a one-sentence defense of why it's your favorite. You hit us up on Twitter at Relevant Podcast and other places we posted. Well, here's some of our favorites.
That's a great. Evan Penn.
What do you say?
The greatest Christmas movie of all time is A Charlie Brown Christmas. Why? He asks. Linus dropping his blanket and quoting Luke 2. Is it Luke 2nd or Luke 2? I don't even know. It's Luke 2.
Luke 2.
As soon,
well, second chapter of Luke.
Yeah, it's not the second book. I need to start reading this book, huh? Just kidding. Quoting Luke 2. As soon as he says, fear not, chills every time. Why? I've never got chills on that one. Do you guys remember that scene where Linus drops his blanket, says "Fear not"?
Yeah, of course.
Really?
Maybe,
Yeah, because
maybe if you read your Bible more,
it was like the first time I heard scripture on TV. I mean, like on mainstream TV.
Wasn't no black people in it, so I ain't watch it.
They have Franklin.
Bruh, Franklin be sitting over in the corner while everybody had they got my man sitting at the kitty table. Yes,
you saw that going around. Okay, hey, we need to clear that up. We need to set the peanuts straight. Around Thanksgiving, this meme started going around where Franklin is sitting on one side of the table and all the white kids are sitting on the other side, like they didn't want to be near him. So people were like, why are they pushing Franklin off and nobody will sit next to him? Look at the table. It was Franklin's birthday party.
Oh, I'm looking at it right now.
And ice cream in front of them. And they were celebrating him and honoring him as a seat of honor. They were not excluding Franklin. And in fact, Charles Schultz, it was a big deal that he fought to be able to have a black character on network television.
Definitely.
So it's like, they weren't excluding Franklin. They were celebrating and honoring Franklin.
It's the internet.
That's his birthday.
And nobody cares, and it's hot topics. It doesn't matter. And here's the crazy part, that regardless of what the truth is, the damage is done.
Now Snoopy's racist or whatever, like.
I gotta watch that movie. I gotta watch that Charlie Brown movie. Is that one of those films that kind of come with Christmas? Like it's one of those like standard, like Home Alone. You have to watch Home Alone. Like as soon as my kid grows up, I'm gonna show him Home Alone and like Charlie Brown. And
it's like 20 minutes long. It's great. It's like on Apple TV.
I'm gonna watch it and I'm gonna listen to you. And Evan, I'm gonna watch it and I'm gonna get chills. I already know. I'm gonna watch it tonight.
I'm gonna watch it too. I never was a Charlie Brown fan growing up. I don't know why. I just didn't really like the Charlie Brown thing. I don't know what it was.
It's too slow.
I used to tell people that he was my cousin.
There wasn't enough people getting punched in the face for me, I think.
It's a different era. Yeah, it's a different era for us. We like different types of thing growing up.
Yeah.
Our parents probably love it.
Adam Davis's favorite Christmas movie is A Muppet Christmas Carol. It has Muppets, music, and Michael Caine.
That feels like one I need to rewatch because there's a couple people that mentioned that on there, and I remember liking it, but
it's good. It is.
Some people want to watch the world bend. He says at the end of the Muppets, right?
I think
that's from Batman. No. That's Dark Knight. That was a Dark Knight? No, was it? Some people want to watch the world bend. He's selling that to Kermit, and Kermit's like, why don't people celebrate Christmas? Some people want to watch the world bend. Do terrible impressions.
Caleb Simmers says his favorite Christmas movie is The Santa Claus. Yeah. He said, with democracy really becoming the way we choose leaders in the West, it's good to know that one powerful position's successor is still chosen by either a lineage or by taking Santa out. Want to change careers? Wait for Santa to visit. I love it. Kill him.
That's a great analysis right there.
He wins.
Caleb.
There's obviously people saying National Lampoons, and there's just a bunch of stuff. Next week on the Tuesday show, we are going to do a March Madness bracket and pick the number one Christmas.
That's awesome.
We only got to do a bracket.
We're going to do it.
We already know what it is.
Cam, I was actually thinking about like what's the worst Christmas song bracket? I almost was thinking about that. Like, what's the worst Christmas song? Some Christmas songs are like designed to be annoying.
There are so
they're designed to be annoying. Like, think about it. Rap-a-bum-bum. Like, there's always a sound connected to a Christmas song. Mm-hmm. So we have a couple brackets.
Of the classics, my least favorite is the drummer.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Exactly.
I really love that one. I'm so sorry.
I only like it when
you love the little drummer boy
and Dwight do it.
I do love their rendition. I love that one. It's fun.
Like Happy Birthday Jesus.
It was always stupid to me. I know. It's
kid.
like I'm watching some Christmas pageant and they're like in the Middle East and all of a sudden like there's a newborn baby and this kid comes in playing drums. I'm just like,
yeah, that's
leave
sick.
them alone. They don't want to hear your banging.
They had no drums in the Middle East during that time, bro.
They're trying to celebrate.
It's different.
The savior of the world's here. No. Okay. Make a joyful noise.
They parade little kids around in Christmas a lot. Like, happy birthday. They have little girls singing happy birthday, Jesus. And it's like, all right, get this kid off the freaking stage. He sucks.
Yo.
I love little kids.
Happy birthday.
I used to direct the Christmas pageant at my old church because I loved it so much. And those kids were terrible and so chaotic. But
that was the best part, really. I missed that, actually.
All right. There's more feedback where that came from. Time for this week's
editorial question of the week.
All right, well, we were just talking about it. We want to know your thoughts on the worst Christmas song. Are we saying classics or are we saying contemporary? Because there's a lot of bad Christmas albums when they do originals.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I would probably say it has to be contemporary. Like it can't be new. It has to be something that we've all can like be like, okay, we heard this. It's not like a random.
Right.
Yeah, it can't be like Yellow Card's rendition of a Christmas. Like I don't want to hear that. Yeah.
Bobby Brown Christmas, track 7. Yeah. All right, hit us up on Twitter at Relevant Podcast and wherever you see us post the question. And we'll read our favorites on next week's show. Maybe I'll play clips too.
Well, before we wrap things up,
I'm Cameron Strang.
Go check out our Christmas playlist. It's on Spotify. It's called A Very Relevant Christmas. It's 350 of our favorite songs and no Mariah Carey. Also, make sure to check out relevantmagazine.com every weekday where we are covering the intersection of faith, culture, and everything in between. Sign up for our newsletter for our top 5 trending stories. Follow us on all the socials. You know, all the good stuff. All right, on that note, we'll wrap it up. I'm Cameron Strang.
I'm Derek Miner, and I got a single dropping called Bands, so go download it right now.
I'm Emily Brown.
And I'm Marty.
We'll see you on Tuesday. Have a great weekend, everyone.
Thanks for listening to the Relevant Podcast. Check out our features, interviews, and news updates every day at relevantmagazine.com. And make sure to follow Relevant on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for the latest. For more great podcasts, browse the shows on the Relevant Podcast Network, which you can find at our site. And while you're there, don't miss the all-new era of Relevant Magazine. A new issue releases every other month at relevantmagazine.com.
God is relevant always.
Relevant Podcast Network.